and welcome to another episode of Success Coaching. My name is Coach Manny Nowak, and you know it's always my pleasure to be with you, right? And today we're going to talk some more about sales, because that's kind of where we've been moving recently. And remember, sales is not about salespeople alone. Every one of us has to sell to move to be outstanding. So how well do you know your product or service is what we're going to focus in on today. Remember the website, remember the phone number, throw Manny in front of that, MannyNowak.com if you want to send me an email. Communicate with us. We get a lot of questions in. Join us Monday morning for our success team call. We got some really good things going on. The website will lead you to anything you want to find. Today, I want to talk about this, though. How well you know your product or service. I go back to the story of Arthur Goldberg, who was the labor secretary for the JFK administration. And Arthur had this real stringent rule. And the stringent rule was simply this: I don't go within 100 feet of the president unless I have all my documents in line, and unless I'm prepared to answer any reasonable question the president could come up with. We look at Bobby Knight. Now, whether you like Bobby Knight or not, forget that for a minute. This is a great saying that he had. He said, the will to succeed is important, but the will to prepare is even more important. How prepared are you when you walk into a situation where you're selling? Are you doing it by the hip? Are you shooting from the hip? You know, I can tell when a salesperson comes into my office whether they've prepared or not. It's so easy to tell. And I don't care if you've done it 1,000 times. Practice makes perfect, doesn't it? So the first thing I want to teach you today is the 50 top objections. What are the 50 top objections to your product or your service? And further, what are the answers? Do you know them cold? Have you memorized them? Simple process. I want you to get a 3x5 card. And on the 3x5 card, I want you to write, this is one objection. And on the back, I want you to write, this is the answer. And then I want you to memorize that and put it in your head. Every time you get a new objection, put them on a card and memorize the answer. So that when you're in a sales situation and somebody has an objection, you know the answer. I got a few here. Let's go to an example here of objections. It costs too much. How many of us have heard that objection? It costs too much. What's your answer? And I can't give you a generic. We could compare it to another product. We could compare it to what the investment's worth. We could compare it to what you're wasting or spending now. The point is, in your business, in your service, in your product, what is the answer? And if you're going for an interview and they say, you cost too much, what is the answer? I'm worth it? It costs more than the competitor? Alright, that's easy. We're better, but why? You got to know those answers. If you're trying to think that answer when it gets asked, everybody knows it. I'm not ready to buy. Okay, how many of us have heard that one? I'm not ready to buy. What is the answer? Let's keep going. Alright, so that's the first one. The second one is the 50 top questions. What are the 50 top questions that your prospect could have? Now, if you're in a real technical product, there may be 100 that you need to memorize, but everyone has 50. What are the 50 things the prospect could ask you? And you shouldn't have to look it up. You shouldn't have to think about it. You should know it cold. And if you don't know the answer, you should be able to get the answer immediately. The days of, I'll get back to you, well, I'll get back to you too after I see these other vendors, those days are gone. You can't get back to me. Give me the answer right now. Pick up your smartphone, make a call, get the answer. You need those answers. Again, get those 3x5 cards. Here's the question. Here's the answers. If you're a sales manager out there, you need to demand these two things of everyone who sells for you. You should be able to give them a lot of these because your team already has it. If I have a sales force, a national sales force of, 10, 20, 100, 150, I should have this to give any new person coming in, shouldn't I? Wow. Let's look at some. Questions about warranty. What's the warranty on the product? Oh, I don't know. Let me take a look. Ever been to an appliance store and appliance salespeople, some of them are either very good or they stink. Service. What's the service agreement? What's the guarantee? Do you have any references? Yeah, right here. How does it work under these conditions? What happens when this? You need to know the answers to those questions. And finally, I gotta re-emphasize, practice, practice, and practice. And I know I might be a pain. It's okay, because I don't care. I'm telling you that this will take your business to outstanding. This will skyrocket your sales. This will make a difference in your business. If you start practicing and you start practicing 15 to 30 minutes a day, practice in your car when you're just driving around, practice the routines, memorize them, work on the card, get in front of a camera, take a picture. What do you look like? How do you look? How do you sound? How does it work? Record it, listen to it, get some professional help. There's great voice people out there, there's great video analysts out there, there's coaching. Look, when you get in front of that customer, you got one shot in most cases. You better be better than anybody else that comes in there. These 3 tools will make you outstanding, or at least get you there. Get those objections, get the questions, and practice, practice, practice. I don't care how busy you are. This is like sharpening your saw. Remember, we talked about that in the past. You got to sharpen your saw. If you don't, you're just spinning your wheels. If you're spending 12 hours a day and you don't have time to practice, you might only have to spend 8 hours after that. Practice, you might have so many clients you don't know what to do with it. Don't kid me on this one. Okay, Larry Bird, the great basketball player, simply says, you got to make your free throws. All right? If you don't make your free throws, you're never going to win the game. Practice. Great athletes practice. Great actors and actresses practice. And outstanding salespeople and outstanding people in the business world, entrepreneurs, executives, practice. It's Coach Manny Nowak. As always, it's my pleasure to be with you. I hope this will move you further and quicker and faster and to be outstanding. Remember, Success Coaching for a Better World is here to make you outstanding.